Did you know the very first Hollywood scandal was caused by nothing more than a kiss? That was in 1896, and trust me, things only got wilder from there. Hollywood's golden age wasn't just about glitz and glamour, it was also about scandal. Some scenes shocked censors, outraged critics, and even broke marriages. These moments weren't just iconic, they were infamous. Today, we're counting down the top 10 classic Hollywood scenes that caused a scandal. And trust me, by the end, you'll never look at a grapefruit the same way again. Alright, let's jump in. What movie managed to scandalize the entire nation with just a kiss? In 1896, the kiss showed two actors sharing a quick smooch. That's it. No nudity, no passion, just a peck. But audiences back then lost their minds. Critics called it absolutely disgusting. Churches declared it immoral, and some cities banned it outright. It was the very first movie kiss. Imagine fainting over a kiss when TikTok exists today. Still, this tiny clip made history and set the stage for Hollywood's lifelong love affair with scandal. And if one kiss was too much, just wait until silk gowns entered the picture in 1930 with Howard Hughes' film Hell's Angels, starring Jean Harlow. Hughes wasn't just making aviation history with Hell's Angels, he was making a scandal. Jean Harlow's silky gowns had plunging necklines that left audiences gasping. Moral watchdogs claimed the film was indecent. Hughes just smirked and used the outrage as free publicity. Harlow became Hollywood's new sex symbol practically overnight. Moral panic? Check. Box office gold? Double check. Of course, if silk dresses were shocking, imagine swimming in nothing at all. Did you know there's a nude swimming scene hidden inside a 1930s Tarzan movie? Before the censors really cracked down, MGM slipped in a full underwater nude swimming scene in the film Tarzan and His Mate, 1934. Jane, played by Maureen O'Sullivan's body double, appeared in all her natural glory, splashing around with Tarzan. Audiences gasped. Censors demanded it be cut, and the scene was stripped out of most prints. But the legend of Tarzan's skinny dip lived on. Let's just say, not the kind of pool party the studios wanted parents to know about. Let's move on from jungle love to gangster grit. In this next film, it wasn't skin that shocked audiences, but raw violence served with a grapefruit? James Cagney was the king of gangster cool, but nothing prepared audiences for what they witnessed in the film The Public Enemy, 1931. In one scene, James Cagney casually shoves half a grapefruit into Mae Clark's face at the breakfast table. It was unscripted, raw, and a little cruel. Some laughed, some were horrified, but everybody talked about it. Let's be real, nothing says romance is dead like getting a grapefruit smashed in your face before coffee. And speaking of lines that leave a sting, one single word nearly got cut from the biggest movie of all time. Today, it's one of the most quoted lines in cinema. Back then, it was scandalous. In Gone with the Wind, 1939, Clark Gable's famous line, "Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn," caused an outrage. The production code banned profanity, and the censors wanted it changed to, "I just don't care." Which, let's be honest, doesn't exactly hit the same, does it? Producer David Selznick fought tooth and nail, and in the end, the word stayed. Audiences gasped at the profanity, but history was made, and Gable proved that sometimes swearing really does make things better. Now from one forbidden word to one unforgettable glove. Enter Rita Hayworth, the ultimate femme fatale. In the film Gilda, 1946, she sang "Put the Blame on Mame" while slowly stripping off a long black glove. That's it, a glove. And yet, it was so sultry that critics accused the film of corrupting audiences. Censors panicked, but Hayworth became an icon. And let's be honest, if a glove coming off can scandalize a whole country, imagine what the internet would have done with it. And if Rita turned up the heat with a glove, Marlon Brando basically set the screen on fire in this next film. A Streetcar Named Desire, 1951. Marlon Brando's animal magnetism, Vivian Lee's fragile sensuality, put them together and A Streetcar Named Desire practically melted the screen. The raw intensity, the violence, and the implied sex were way too much for censors, who forced heavy edits. Even so, audiences were scandalized. Brando became a sex symbol, Lee broke hearts, and the movie proved that sometimes the censors can cut scenes, but they can't cut the chemistry. Brando turned up the heat, but for this next one, Marilyn Monroe turned it into a cultural explosion. All it took was a subway grate and one white dress. Marilyn Monroe's subway scene in the film, The 7-Year Itch, made in 1955, may be one of the most famous shots ever. But filming, it caused chaos. Crowds of men gathered to watch, hooting and cheering as her dress flew higher and higher. Her husband, Joe DiMaggio, was furious, storming off set in a jealous rage. Censors cut out the most revealing shots, but the damage was done. Monroe wasn't just a movie star anymore. She was a scandal in heels. From a rising dress, we move on to a falling shower curtain. Did you know which movie shocked the world by showing a toilet flush, then a brutal shower scene? Alfred Hitchcock redefined horror with Janet Leigh's shocking shower scene in Psycho, 1960. Quick cuts, piercing screams, and blood circling the drain, it shocked audiences to their core. At the time, you couldn't even show a toilet flush on screen, and here was Hitchcock showing nudity, violence, and terror all at once. Some theaters banned it, others put age restrictions on screenings. But audiences lined up anyway. Many of them too scared to ever shower alone again. And finally, we end with the movie that caused protests, bans, and riots across America. D.W. Griffith's The Birth of a Nation, 1915, was a landmark in film technique and a disaster in morality. With white actors in blackface, vicious stereotypes, and the glorification of the Ku Klux Klan, it was more propaganda than cinema. The NAACP protested across the country, many cities banned it, and riots broke out in some screenings. It was Hollywood's first nationwide scandal, and a reminder that film doesn't just entertain, it can also harm. We've covered the 10 biggest scandals, but Hollywood always has a little extra drama. So, let's check out one more juicy bonus scandal that rocked the silver screen. Do you know one of Hollywood's first sex symbols who almost caused a moral panic just by existing on screen? Instead of leaning into glamour and gowns, this courageous woman flipped the script completely. Picture this. It's 1930, the golden age of Hollywood. Audiences pack the theaters expecting the usual: glamorous gowns, handsome leading men, and safe, predictable romance. But then, the screen flickers to life and something entirely different happens. Marlene Dietrich, playing a sultry cabaret singer in Morocco, strolls onto the stage, not in a glittering dress but in a tuxedo. Top hat, bow tie, the whole look. The crowd in the theater gasps, whispers ripple through the audience. A woman dressed like a man in 1930? This was already scandalous. And then she does the unthinkable. In the middle of her performance, Dietrich leans in and kisses another woman right on the lips. For audiences back then, it was like a lightning strike. Hollywood had never shown something like this before. Some critics rushed to call it immoral and indecent, while others hailed it as daring, bold, even revolutionary. That tuxedo became one of the most iconic outfits in cinema history. She became a symbol of rebellion, of glamour, of bending the rules that Hollywood thought were unbreakable. And there you have it, the scandals that made Hollywood what it is today. These 11 scenes proved one thing: Hollywood has always thrived on shocking its audiences. From kisses to curses, nudity to violence, each scandal changed the movies forever. These scandals, from the ridiculous to the revolutionary, remind us that the movies have always been about more than just entertainment. They've been about pushing boundaries, making headlines, and keeping us talking decades later. So, which scandal made you gasp, laugh, or maybe even cringe? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think. And if you loved this peek behind Hollywood's golden curtain, make sure to like, subscribe, and stick around for more untold stories from the world of Tinseltown Scandal.